So I'm here to solve this Thermo-Sudoku called 2020 Vision by Teddy Tan. It's Teddy's first contribution to the site. We're excited to have it. I'm going to start in these longest thermometer shapes as I tend to do and recognize that they have 1 degree of freedom. When they're 8 cells long means that every cell within them will have 2 options. And my expectation is I'm going to either run into some of the givens, although in this case there aren't many givens, or I'm going to have these pairs connect across the thermometer shape. So actually look at this. So 8, 9, 8, 9 as a pair makes this to be a 4, 7, coming down 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A different pair that was available to start would have been 4 with 5, but now actually this 4 has been specified, which makes this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That 9 makes this digit into a 9. Actually, this is the last space for an 8 in this bottom space, so I can't do more if the 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of sets up here, but this is a very fast start to the grid. Now I'm going to come to this cell, which is part of a 7 long thermometer. Typically that would have 2 degrees of freedom, so 1, 2, 3 would be in this first cell. But a 2 is already given there, and that actually means as I come up here, this cell now is forced to be a 3 or a 4. And so at the start of the grid, this actually is another thermometer that has most of its cells with just 2 options for it. And having already put a 6 into the grid, this is forced to be a 5, 4, 3, coming down to be a 1. I don't have anything to do with the 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 yet, but a good start there. We can probably actually work off this thermometer here, which will have to be a 1, 2, 5 because of the 3, 4 already around it. So this has 4 degrees of freedom, but 1 through 5 is the smallest value in the first cell, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the normal values in the end cells, but several of these are now gone. Actually, because all the 8s are already used, you should see quickly at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 can't go into this grid for several reasons. So this first cell is a 1 or 2. This next cell now can actually be a 2 or 3 because those are already given here. So this now has to be 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, eliminating the 8, and 7, 9. But 7's in this box, so this is a 9, this is 6, 7, this is 5, 6, this is 4, 5, coming backwards. The cell to the right can't be a 3 or a 5, but it can be 2, 4, 6. Coming up here, this can be a 3 or it can be a 7. This next cell will then have to be 7, 8, and 8, 9 extending, and that's because of the 4, 5, 6 all to the right, eliminating everything in the middle space. I now have 2 more pairs of identified, 8, 9, and 7, 8. The 7, 8 actually eliminates a 7 here, which puts in a 6, puts in a 5, puts in a 4, eliminates these cells. This 8, 9 column actually is pretty finished. It just needs a 6 and 7 to get it to go, and so those have to fit in here. The 7 comes across. This space now is left actually with a 4 and 3, so a 4 has to be in the cell, a 3 in the cell. We're going to have a 9 somewhere in the bottom here, a 9 somewhere on the top of this 7th row over in this box. Some more limited cells are going to probably come through if we think through. Let's take this thermometer. So right now this can be a 2, 3, and it can't be larger than that. We actually have a limit where the last 6 in this space is over here on the right. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 9 in this area. Actually, this column is just 1, 9, so I'll mark that in. So this is 2, 3. This comes up to be a 3, 4, 5. Notice that 6, 7, 8, 9 are already in that column. This next cell can't be a 4. It can still be a 5. It can't be a 6 because of what's still left. It can be a 7. Coming here, then, this can't be 5, 6, but this can be 7, 8, and this can be 8, 9. But 7, 8 is already a pair in this space, and 8, 9 is actually already a pair in this space. So this has to be a 9. More than that, this is then 8, 7, 8, 9, and there's a 9 that comes over to this cell. So this is some pretty quick forcing of the grid just based off tracking the digits really well. We have a 3 and 5 to finish out this column. The 3 is here, the 5 is here. That now means in this cell, which has to be larger than 3, but not 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this has to be a 4. That 4 eliminates this option here. I'm seeing if anything else of my progress has given us digits. Actually, the 7 gave me that now this has to be a 3. That forces the whole rest of that thermometer and actually forces a small digit here as well. This 3 eliminates the 3 here, which now forces this whole middle thermometer. So this whole puzzle is cascading quickly now that we've got some good progress in the grid. 5 is the last digit in that row. This row needs a 2 and a 9. That 9 eliminates these options. We have a 2, 3 pair, and on the left side of the grid, this is a 4. We have a 4 that has to be in the 6th column, but it can't be in these lower option cells, so it comes up here. We now have a 4 in one of these. We're going to have a 4 in one of these. We need to have a 6 in one of these. We need to have a 5 in one of these. So some of this is going to come from tracking these middle digits. So let's look in this bottom box a bit and recognize actually with this 9 place, this has to be a 9, 6, 4, 5. So that was one of the first things I wanted to see. That puts a 6 up top. We have a 1 and 3 to go. That's over here. That limits us to 2, 1. This top space is 6, 7. This 2 coming across is 2 options. But we don't have a lot. Actually, this is the last space for a 4. These will have to be part of a 1. These will have to be part of an 8. So let's look actually in this space. This is 3, 8, 9. The 9 must be below, the 8 up above, and the 3 here. That 8 puts in this 8, puts in this 2, 2, 3. Forces this is a 3, this is a 1, this is a 7. That puts in a 7 and a 6, and a 6 and a 7 and a 1, and we're done. So a good workout. It started by really focusing on these large thermometers, but then tracking all the places we could get single digits and got some really interesting pairs, the 7, 8, 8, 9s here, and then even the extension of this middle thermometer. I bet this was the key one to work through, even though it looks subtle. By the time you get over to here and recognize this has to be a 7, 8, 9, but 7, 8 are up above, you get 9, 8, 7 cascading quickly. So working through the notations along thermometers was a secret for this puzzle, and hopefully through this video you got a sense of how to approach Thermo-Sudoku in the future. We'll see you again soon.